you check the children. Show a little match sometimes.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes. That is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to The Horror Show. I'm Cecil, Laird, and today I'm here to review the brand new sequel release that personally I was very excited about. I believe I did put this on my 10 most anticipated of 2024 at the beginning of the year, and that is Smile 2, written and directed by Parker Finn. Now, Parker did the first movie as well, and I, along with many other people, were surprised at how good the first Smile movie was, quite frankly. I mean, it had a similar gimmick, or a similar seeming gimmick, to the Truth or Dare movie that had come out not too long before that, where everyone did these rictus grins before they killed themselves, and that was that, and that movie was not very good. And then Smile came around, had that familiar smile thing, but didn't do like an abnormal rictus grin, just a normal creepy grin, and made that into a horror movie. Not only a horror movie, but a creature feature in essence, because it is revealed that at the end of the first movie there is an entity that is invisible to everyone except the people that it infects, and it is the thing that is hopping from person to person, killing them. And it was really cool. I really enjoyed that first movie a lot. They did a lot of really cool, creepy things, and I did hear some people walking out of the theater tonight saying that they liked the first one better, but I did also hear some people walking out of the theater tonight saying they liked the second one better. I don't know, I think I might like them both equally. So one of the big components in this thing is a pop star, right? Our lead actress plays a pop star that is the center of the movie, and unfortunately, a few months back, we had Trap, M. Night Shyamalan's newest movie, which also featured a pop star and was not looked favorably upon by people, mostly because it felt a little crowbarred in, the amount of performances we saw, the fact that the pop star was played by Shyamalan's daughter. You know, it made some people raise eyebrows and made it look like, you know, just a sort of family project on a multi-million-dollar scale. But that is, you know, the pop star of it all, I would be, you know, I know I've already heard some people say that they don't like the pop star aspect of this movie without even having seen it. But personally, I think it fit the movie well. And we'll get into the story. But yeah, I guess my overall thoughts on Smile 2 is that I enjoyed it. You know, I had a really good time. I feel like there was a lot of good set piece scares. There was actually about 3 jump scares, all of which got me, but they didn't feel like creative jump scares. They were kind of more on the cheap variety, if I had to, you know, judge the jump scares. But they were still effective, even if they were kind of cheap. What I mean by cheap is just stuff jumping and loud music for no reason, as opposed to kind of serving the story, sort of thing, you know. But the movie itself was enjoyable. I thought the effects were awesome. We'll get into that, and I really enjoyed the acting too. So yeah, my overall thoughts are this is a big win. Did I like it more than the first one or less? I don't know. I haven't seen the first one since I saw it in the theaters. So I was just kind of going into this based on that, and you know, I remember really liking it, but I didn't remember all the finer details, and that happens a lot to me now with the amount of media I consume. But getting into Smile 2 in a more in-depth fashion, I won't spoil anything, so don't worry about that. And by the way, guys, if you want, click the link in the description box for the trailer for the movie. You can pull that up in another window if you want. That way you can watch clips while I talk. I'm not going to put them here because there's always a copyright back and forth, and I'm not a big fan of that. So I'm just going to give you my opinion here, and you guys can watch clips on another window. But yeah, so Smile 2 is about a pop star who is just coming back after having an accident a year prior. She was in a bad car accident, and she has been recovering for the past year, and this is now her time to try and get back out there and try and, you know, get back on the horse, so to speak, and start performing again. And so she's planning a comeback tour. And her mom is her manager, and she has, you know, a couple people assisting her and stuff. But she is recovering from substance abuse as well. So at one point, she's a little bit weak, and she goes to a drug dealer friend's house to try and score some Vicodin because she's in pain due to the injury she sustains in the accident. And when she's there, the drug dealer has a crazy freak out, which is shown in the trailer, and then he smiles and then does something very crazy right in front of her. Of course, if you've seen the first movie, you know what that crazy thing is. You don't know how crazy it is as they show it. Guys, this is a hard R. This is gore heavy, which I really, really appreciated. Obviously, I'm a gore hound. It's not like Terrifier 3 levels of gore, but it is R-rated gore pushing, it is pushing the R-rated gore limits as far as how much they normally will show. And I really appreciated that. I dug the hell out of it. It's like, it gets pretty gnarly, and I really appreciated it. So, yeah, she experiences this, and then, of course, the entity starts to torment her from the inside, and she starts to see things, and some things are real, some things are not. She can't quite tell. She's getting messages from an unknown number that knows more than they should know about her circumstances and everything. She's trying to rekindle a friendship with someone that she ostracized when she was going down a dark path. And so I actually quite liked the story of this one. I feel like the main character was really well fleshed out. She had to carry the film, and she did a really great job doing it, quite frankly. Her acting really stood out, was phenomenal. And I tell you what, the moments where she sees something and gets scared and her eyes go like way wider than any eyes should, like, it's so effective, and I immediately want to see what it is she's looking at. Like, she was really good in the film. Honestly, all the acting was really well done in the movie. I appreciated it all, and I had a really good time with it. But okay, so yeah, she starts to, I mean, it's very much following the formula of the first movie. If you saw the first movie, you know how things play out. Things get more and more crazy as she experiences more and more, seeing more and more people smiling at her in a very creepy way. And then it gets more and more personal as events start to happen. And she essentially tries to figure out a way to defeat the entity. And, as they always do in these movies, it follows, anything where there's an entity and a time frame. There's the Ring, even, there's always someone trying to stop it. And that's what's going on in this film. But I gotta say, without delving deeper into the story, I gotta say it was really well written. It had a lot of good set piece scares. I mentioned that earlier. And like, there's a moment in the trailer that you see where there's a group of people kind of all together moving as one down a hallway of mirrors. And that whole scene was awesome. Like, they did such a good job with that. It's kind of a mixture of like the craziness of the Smile movie mixed with the Weeping Angels story from Doctor Who. If you're familiar with that, you'll know that reference, and you'll get excited for that scene, because it's fucking cool. They do a lot of really cool stuff in this movie, and a lot of it has to do with the effects that they use at times, and lots of practical effects, which I really, really appreciated. There was definitely CG as well, but my God, the practical effects were cool. And I was worried this whole movie, because I'm like, I really appreciated one particular moment in the first one. I really liked the reveal at the end of the movie, and I was concerned that they were going to try and veer a different way, possibly. And at one point I thought they were gonna, and I was getting disappointed, and then there was a reveal, and I literally said, fuck yeah, in the theater, and, like, surrounded by everyone. I was like, fuck yeah. I was so excited to see it. And this was a very, very pleasing movie, guys. It when you consider the story, this movie ends kind of the only way it can. And, like, I saw the ending coming, of course, but only because I was like, oh, it's got to end this way. It'd be so awesome if it ends this way. It's got to end this way. And luckily, it does go that way. I'm not saying what that way is, so I'm not spoiling anything, but I really, really dug it. It harkened back to some favorites of mine that if I mentioned, it would give it away, so I'm not going to do that. But I was very satisfied with the conclusion of the film, and they're very much they could end it here, or they could very much continue it. I would be game for it either way. I think Parker has done a great job with this series already, and I think it very much deserves more, whether he intended to do more or not. And forgive me, I'm assuming Parker is a guy. I guess I could be wrong about that. Parker is one of those names. So yeah, if I'm wrong, I apologize. But yeah, this movie was very entertaining, and moving right into the acting. Well, I already started talking about it with our lead. She was awesome. The actress that played her mom was great. The actor that played her assistant was great. Her close friend was great. I will say this movie picks up right after the first movie. Well, not right after. A very specific time frame after the first movie. And I was happy with it. You know, again, I hadn't seen the first one since it came out in the theater. So I had to piece together. I was like, wait, is that... Okay, cool. And then the whole intro happens. It's a fucking awesome intro that leads to a fucking awesome movie. I really, really dug this, you guys. Like, I'm liking it more and more as I'm thinking about it. Specifically because it really satisfied the effects side of my brain. I'm just going to segue into that. The acting is great. I really appreciated the acting in this. But I'm going to move into the effects before the filmmaking, because the effects were awesome. Lots of practical gore. Way more than I remember there being in the first movie, and I was very much appreciative of that. I am excited to watch it again sooner than I rewatched the last. Well, I didn't even rewatch the last one. Now, once this one comes out on Blu-ray, I will likely rewatch the first and do a back-to-back, because I think that's going to be a great experience. And I remember really liking the first one, but I really like this one as well. That's why I can't say which one I like more, because the first one's not quite fresh enough. But I'd be very curious to know your guys' thoughts on that. So if you've seen them both, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. I'm going to go ahead and move into the filmmaking, which I really liked. There was one thing that I feel like the movie did maybe one too many times, and that is, you know, I do remember, I think the first movie opened on an upside-down city. Which I remember from Devil. They did the same thing there, but I think Smile opened with an upside down city, and they lean into that in this one. There's quite a few upside down shots, and I was fine with that. It definitely sets the mood. Again, you know, the character at one point, you know, the camera moves onto its side, and I'm like, okay, so everything's going sideways for this character. Yes, okay. Oh wow, her whole life's being turned upside down, and it's, you know, oh, it's being turned upside down. So a little bit some of it is a little on the nose, and it might have been overdone just maybe by once or twice, because it happens like 4 or 5 times. But you know, you may like it. I do think it was mood setting, but you notice it so much it kind of pulls you a little bit out. If it happened once or twice, great, you know, okay, I get it, I get what you're going for. But doing it so much, it kind of pulls you out. You're like, why am I upside down again? So, you know, but otherwise, I think the filmmaking was awesome. There was a lot of really uncomfortable close-ups. They did something in this that that you don't normally see in film, where there's a scene inside a car, and the camera is literally placed essentially on the center console. And it's just, it's that close to the driver, and then it just turns, and it's that close to the passenger, and it just turns, and it just turns. But they're so close. They're like delivering dialogue, like this close, you know what I mean? Like, it's so strange, and it's a little unnerving, because they're saying really awful things, you know what I mean? And so it's a bit, it's disorienting and unnerving. So I like that. I think that's good use of cinematography. That's doing more than just showing us the story. That's putting us in the story and making us feel some type of way. So I think that this movie did a really great job. I mean, you guys think those smiles are creepy, you know, just kind of from afar. When you're that close to one of those smiles, it's creepy as F, I gotta say. So yeah, filmmaking was great. Sound design was awesome. I think the sound design really sang in this one, and the score was really good too. The score was ominous at times, which I really liked, and it was you know, violent, screechy at times when it needed to be, and I think it very much complemented the movie. I don't remember specific melodies or anything, as I sometimes do coming out of movies, but I do remember at least noticing that the score was really helping the mood. So score and sound design were really, really great. So, I mean, ultimately, guys, This is a very much worth your time. I think it is worth a trip to the theater. I think it's going to do very, very well. If you don't mind it being about a pop star, I mean, get past that. You know what I mean? They show you that in the trailer. That's what it's going to be about. So, but it's done much better than in Trap, in my opinion. So if that's your hang up, then you're okay. I think this is going to be fun. And it's just a much better movie than Trap as well. Much more entertaining, much more gore, and yeah, just a good time all around. So I highly recommend Smile 2, you guys. Again, if you've seen it, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. I'm putting this up Friday morning, so probably not that many people will... Well, actually, no, I'm putting it up Wednesday morning. So only people that have gone to the special screenings will have seen it thus far. But when this review is circulating this weekend, if you start to see... Anyone that sees it and wants to comment their thoughts down below, please do. I'm very curious to know everyone's reaction. Maybe I just was in a good mood tonight, but I really enjoyed it. So... that's going to do it for my thoughts on Smile 2. Here's to Smile 3. I really hope Parker gets to do that. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you to all of our patrons for supporting the channel the way that you do. We greatly appreciate it. Until next time, though, I've been Cecil Laird, and remember, stay happy.